In 1943, Americans were taken aback when the FDA banned sliced bread, a modern convenience barely a decade old at the time. The brief prohibition was enacted because the pre-sliced bread used excessive amounts of plastic packaging, demonstrating how even everyday products can become entangled with broader social and wartime priorities.
Eye patches are synonymous with the image of a pirate, but their origin wasn't to hide injuries at all. Instead, pirates used eye patches to keep one eye acclimated to the darkness found below deck, thus improving their night vision during raids, a clever trick that gave them a tactical edge in low-light situations.
When you think of record-breaking speeds, images of rockets or race cars typically come to mind, but the fastest man-made object is actually a manhole cover. During an underground nuclear test, a 4-inch thick steel cover was launched at an astonishing 125,000 miles per hour. An unexpected example of how everyday objects can sometimes take on extraordinary properties.
Cleopatra, the famous queen of Egypt, paradoxically lived closer in time to our modern cell phones than to the age of the Great Pyramids. With the pyramids having been built nearly 2,500 years before her birth, this fact underscores how our sense of ancient history can sometimes blur the lines between distant eras.
Ever wonder why banana-flavored treats have that unmistakably fake taste? The answer lies in history. The artificial flavor was initially designed to mimic the Gros Michel banana, a variety that was once the standard before a devastating disease nearly wiped it out. This extinct banana's flavor continues to shape our taste experiences even today. Immortality might sound like the stuff of fantasy novels, yet nature has its own version in the form of the Turritopsis dohrnii jellyfish. I am able to reverse my life cycle by reverting to its juvenile state, essentially giving me the potential to live indefinitely, making me one of the only known truly immortal species. Look me up on Google and see for yourself.
When you think of Canada, sprawling cities and cold winters come to mind, but geographically, most Canadians actually live surprisingly far south. In fact, about 64% of Canada's population lives below the latitude of Seattle, illustrating how population centers can cluster near borders even in vast northern lands. In the high-pressure environments of gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, it's believed that conditions may be just right to turn carbon into solid diamonds, causing it to literally rain diamonds from the skies. This otherworldly phenomenon not only tantalizes the imagination, but also offers insight into the extreme meteorological conditions on distant planets. In the case of kidney transplants, you might end up with an extra organ rather than a complete replacement. Often, doctors leave the diseased kidney intact and simply add the donor kidney to the patient's body, meaning you can actually have 3 kidneys working together, a fascinating twist of medical practice.
The toll of wartime sacrifices can be staggering. During World War I, over 1,300,000 French soldiers lost their lives, a number that surpasses the total military losses of the United States across all its wars since 1775. This fact serves as a sobering reminder of the human cost of conflict.
Escaping from prison might be thought of as an extreme criminal act, but in Mexico, the act of breaking out of jail is not itself illegal. While any crimes committed during or following an escape are still punishable, the notion that freedom itself is not a crime adds a twist to how justice is administered.
History reminds us that animals can sometimes be more dangerous than their numbers suggest. The infamous Champawat tiger, responsible for 435 human deaths in Nepal and India, killed more people than the combined fatalities attributed to bears, spiders, and snakes in 30 years. A chilling account of nature's potential for violence.
Fruit Loops may look like they come in many colors, but in reality, they all share the same fruit flavor. Despite their vibrant hues suggesting a mix of tastes, Kellogg's has confirmed that every loop is made from a single blended fruit flavor. This quirky tidbit is a fun reminder that not everything is as it appears. Next time you find yourself shaking a bottle of ketchup, remember that your vigorous movement isn't just random, it alters the sauce's consistency. By shaking the bottle, the spherical tomato particles are forced into thinner shapes, making the ketchup run up to 1,000 times thinner and easier to pour. The famed Las Vegas Strip, celebrated for its neon lights and entertainment, isn't actually inside the Las Vegas city limits. Instead, it sits in the unincorporated area of Paradise. A quirk born of early decisions to keep casinos outside the city for reputational reasons. Garlic isn't just for cooking. An unexpected property of this pungent bulb is that its essence can be absorbed through your skin. When you rub garlic on the bottoms of your feet, the compound allicin travels through your bloodstream and actually lets you taste garlic without ever putting it in your mouth, a peculiarity that blurs the line between flavor and sensation.
Nature often defies our expectations. There are about 3 trillion trees on Earth, outnumbering the roughly 300 to 400 billion stars in the Milky Way. This staggering comparison puts into perspective the richness of life on our planet relative to even the vastness of space.
Although polar bears are renowned for their snowy, white fur, they aren't truly white at all. Their skin is black while their fur is made up of hollow, clear hairs that scatter and reflect light, resulting in the illusion of whiteness and adding another layer to nature's clever designs.
Although London is known as a vast metropolis, the City of London itself has a tiny resident population of only about 9,000 people. This small population is nestled within the larger Greater London area, highlighting how historical business districts can be very different from the residential expanse around them.
The speed at which bullets travel is so extreme that if you're struck by a sniper's bullet, your life will end before you even have a chance to hear the shot. Bullets typically travel faster than the speed of sound, which means the fatal impact occurs silently in terms of human perception.
The Earth is neither a perfect sphere nor flat. It is actually an oblate spheroid. This means our planet has a slight bulge around its equator and is somewhat flattened at the poles, a shape that belies the simple round image we often imagine when we think of Earth.
I am an adorable duck-billed platypus that might look harmless, but I carry a painful secret. Our males of the species possess venomous spurs on our hind legs, capable of delivering a sting that is regarded as one of the most agonizing bites in the animal kingdom, even if it is rarely fatal.
Botanically speaking, what we commonly call a berry isn't always what it seems. While strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries don't meet the scientific criteria for berries because their seeds are on the outside, fruits like watermelons, bananas, grapes, and even eggplants do, demonstrating the counterintuitive nature of botanical classifications. Although our 24-hour day seems fixed, Earth's rotation is gradually slowing down. Scientists predict that in roughly 175 million years, our planet's day will extend to 25 hours, providing a fascinating perspective on the slow but steady march of geological time.
It may seem impossible to connect history's tragic figures, but Frank and Martin Luther King, Jr. share a surprising coincidence. Both were born in 1929. Although Frank's life was cut short during the horrors of World War II and King later rose as a leader of the civil rights movement, this shared birth year connects them across time and history.
Vincent van Gogh's legacy now adorns museums and inspires millions, but during his lifetime he sold only one painting, The Red Vineyard. Despite his later acclaim and record-breaking auction prices, this poignant statistic underscores the bittersweet irony in the life of one of history's most beloved artists.
Hippos are among the most intimidating animals in the wild, and one of our most bizarre traits is our sweat, which isn't sweat at all, but a reddish, oily secretion. This blood sweat helps protect our skin from the harsh sun while giving us the eerie appearance of literally sweating blood under the glare of the day.
Despite the image of endless desert landscapes, Saudi Arabia relies on imports not only for luxury goods but also for essentials such as sand and camels. Since the country's own resources have diminished in these areas, Australia now supplies prized garnet sand and camels, a fascinating twist on international trade relationships.
The iconic arches at the base of the Eiffel Tower, while visually striking and synonymous with Parisian charm, serve a purely decorative role. Originally, the massive pylons provided all the structure support, but later additions were made solely for aesthetic appeal, a design detail that marries engineering with art.